Welcome to Metachomp. My name is Alex Muncatchy.
And I'm Mike Muncatchy.
Well, this is episode 526B.
Oh, actually, you got that a little bit incorrect. We did a couple interludes, and remember those Let's Plays?
Oh, I love those interludes.
Wasn't that great?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, snap into a Slim Jim.
Well, welcome, folks.
Welcome, folks, one and all.
What's your name?
Michael Muncatchy. I almost said Metachomp.
Oh, well, it's almost like we're at that point, right?
We are
Metachomp.
That's right, folks.
Got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just in case you're just joining us now, I'm Mike Muncatchy.
And I'm Alex Muncatchy.
And we're bringing all the latest and greatest in terms of film, news, mostly not news, though. Mostly talking about things in the past.
We're all touchy-feely here.
We're all about digging
digging
deep,
digging down.
digging real deep down. We're talking deep dives.
Go and dive that down there.
We're gonna dive real deep.
More water. Sugar water.
Sugar. Egger, what's wrong with your face? So today, Al, we got a couple things on the slate, and and just also, dear listener,
Singular.
Before we get into it, we've launched our social media.
Yes.
We got accounts on what?
We have accounts on the Instagram,
That's right.
on the Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
We have some stuff on Twitter.
Preach.
Bless.
Mm-hmm. We got accounts on Preach Bless as well.
Oh, we do. Christian Mingle, we deleted that account. We don't
did.
need that. We don't need that smoke.
We got some weird DMs.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We did.
We did.
Mm-hmm. Brings a whole new meaning to the word Bible study. Leviticus 18:12. That's my favorite.
But yeah, I mean, we have some interesting stuff to talk about. What's on the docket for today?
Well, today we're gonna just
docket?
Like I said about dockets. We're going to be talking about video game weapons. And this was a topic that you actually came up with, Al.
Really?
Yes, it was.
Before
the
accident.
Yes.
Before the fall.
Before the great darkness.
Was it before, so when the bombs dropped?
Yes.
Now, is it going to be canon or not canon? Are we talking like another universe or retcon? What's going on?
Well, if it is a canon, and that is your favorite weapon in a video game,
you know,
that's why they pay us the average bucks.
The average.
The no bucks.
We round them up.
We certainly do. Zero rounded up is still zero, baby.
Well, you can. And the thing is, you really can't argue with a Coinstar machine.
You can't.
It has no bias.
Anytime you take change over to Coinstar machine, doesn't it make you feel rich?
Because like you win the lottery.
You bring your piggy bank over there.
Bring that piggy bank.
And you just hear cha-ching, cha-ching, and everybody's looking around as you're pouring in your...
Exactly. And everyone gets hot and bothered. Like, look at this high roller. With all that spare change in the bag.
That's right. It's like a slot machine where everybody wins.
Everybody wins. You take that little slip. And I'd like to cash this.
That's right. And, hey, Al, whenever you have a chance to come back, there's a strange old man sitting in front of me. I'm not really sure who he is.
But it's crazy. It's crazy to me because, you know, the conversation about guns, I think...
Well, not that conversation.
That's true. Too soon. It's too soon.
But video game weapons in particular.
By gun. Well, weapons in particular. All right. It doesn't have to be a gun. It can be a sword.
Right.
It could be a grenade or timed mine.
Or it could be a monkey launcher.
That's true. What do you think is going on with games nowadays? I mean, we've talked about it before in earlier podcasts about like, oh, we have the standard rifle, you know, the AR-15, the shotgun, the pistol, right? Like, whatever happened to that? It's craziness.
Actually, I feel like those are the weapons that we see now. But what we used to see...
And my point is, we have like the force, the everything tied to a D pad.
No, just a D.
The D.
Yeah, just tied to a D.
We're tied to a D.
That's right. Just everything's just swinging along.
We're just gonna go 4 score. We're gonna have crisscross applesauce. You know, shotgun. We're gonna have a pistol. You might be able to swap it out for a sniper if you get to that spot beforehand.
Very predictable though.
It is.
It's not like Turok where you had like 30 different weapons. See, like when I look
because they weren't worried about tying everything to the D.
Well, no, that's right, and I like that you're focused on the D, and I appreciate that.
You know, I try.
Meet me later. But with regards to just the arsenal of weapons, I feel like there used to be a lot more originality back in the day. Especially with games like Time Splitters, with games like GoldenEye, and Turok. The
Cerebral Bore.
The Cerebral Bore,
which is a very hard word to say.
Cerebral Bore is a dyslexic's nightmare.
It is, but it's a phenomenal weapon. Iguana was kind of known for more of their zany weapon designs in their games, and I like that Activision, or no, it was Acclaim. It was Acclaim.
Yeah,
the other A, that they
R.I.P. by the way.
Yeah, seriously. They were like, go for it. Why not? Mm-hmm. It's the thing that attaches, and very graphically is shown, attaches to the head, to the skull. And what does it do exactly again? I forgot.
It makes this ear-piercing sound, and it grinds
not a good
into
ear
the skull. Not a good...
Is there such a thing?
I don't know. I've seen some pretty tasteful ear piercers.
You usually wear both ears, right?
I have gauges in mine.
Gauges.
Yeah, gotcha. Giant gauges.
Okay.
But I do recall shooting, I think at you, split screen in Turok 2. Terrible multiplayer for some reason. But the sound was so grating, and then you'd actually see the blood.
The blood spill out all over the place. Yes.
Also, guys, little kids, turn off your ears. Turn
them off. There's a mute button.
This is ESRB rated for adults only.
Why don't they have that for kids?
Adults only?
Like it's like a Black Mirror episode where like they have like ears that can be muted if there's something explicit. You just gotta pop it in your earbuds. Pop in your earplugs.
Well, that's a sign of a really troubled childhood, don't you think?
That is.
Hey kids, put on your noise canceling headphones.
Earmuffs.
We got these Bose Soundtrues for a reason.
That's true.
But the sound that it would make though after it would burrow into the person's head, and I think it would explode.
It was like a saw, like disgusting, like it sounded like it was like a crack and like some nice mushy gushy, like it's almost like getting a headshot from Resident Evil. Remember that? How like if you got a headshot, there's that perfect watermelon exploding sound.
Yeah,
it was so wonderful.
Lalo Lalo. Isn't that what they say?
That sounds like the unofficial sequel to Lilo and Stitch. Is that what Stitch would say to Lilo?
That's exactly what it was.
Thought so.
It's funny, on the outset, I didn't realize how gory this conversation would be.
It was very graphic.
I do remember that the Cerebral Bore, once it gets to the center of your head, then would explode.
It's like the Geiger weapon. It felt like it was so like it because it almost feels like it got to your head in such a way that like it clamped on, and like I remember like each of the enemies were like terrified. They weren't like angry. But they had enough. They were sentient and cognizant enough to know that they were probably going to die. So I think they shriek and they kind of move, they flail around.
Yeah, like they don't die right away.
This is on the N64, mind you, where like...
Plus, remember, the RAM expansion pack.
Of course, it helps, so that way you don't have the Silent Hill, fog too bad,
Can we just, for a moment, just give a moment of silence to the RAM expansion pack? Thank you. I appreciate that.
Some games included it, though, did they not? Did they actually include it in an expansion? Or did you have to buy that separately? I forgot.
It was like a $20 thing. It was 8 megabytes of RAM.
It was also red.
It was red,
so it makes it go faster.
And it had little, it looked like a little cheesecloth, too. It had little holes in it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That was like reminds me of the Radeon 9800 that I used to have, where it got so hot and the graphics card also happened to be red. So I was like, wait a second.
Red means fast.
Red means fast and ridiculously hot is what AMD/Radeon were trying to say to me. So I ended up taking the side panel off of the case and then blowing a massive, like a Home Depot fan into it 24/7, playing the original Call of Duty, and it was just too much to handle.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to what we're dealing with games that were more simplistic,
right?
Did not have the same level of detail that today's games have.
That's amazing to me. That's amazing to me that even with the limitations of the hardware, they were able to still breathe phenomenal new life and kind of just I think even back then they kind of knew that there was like for me, the AK-47 and in GoldenEye always looked to me like a pencil. Yep. It always looked like a really big pencil. Like Who's the guy? Who's the guy that draws with the massive crayon or the massive pencil that he carries
Harold.
around? Pappy.
What?
Pappy? I think it's Pappy, right?
You're probably right. I was thinking Harold and Purple Crayon.
Oh, that's true. That's
but Pappy, though.
Yeah, he always had the massive pencil. And I always thought that was what James Bond was holding when he was carrying around. You know,
That's what he meant by saying, "Who does number 2 work for?" I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, we all know. Yeah, number 2 is that medium lead.
Number 2, because that second level in GoldenEye comes out through the bathroom. But there was also Duke Nukem 64.
Yes, the jetpack.
The jetpack, the shrink gun, the expand gun, Hollow Duke,
Think about that.
the heat-seeking, the motion, playing multiplayer.
The Hollow Duke. I forgot about the Hollow Duke, and you can also shrink people and then step on them too as well.
Yes, and then you would stomp on them. But one of the most fun I've ever had playing multiplayer was Duke Nukem 64, playing with with you, yes, with the rocket that was heat-seeking or laser-guided rocket, and then just training it at you while you're running across the field and watching the rocket change directions, and then head right for you and watching you explode.
It's and I feel like probably the last time that a real developer was able to really use this and have that infuse that same creativity might have been Bungie. Bungie with the sword.
Mm-hmm.
And and also the oh my god, the sticky grenades.
Yes.
I can't think of the name. This is horrible because I spent half my lifetime playing Halo, so I can't think of the name of it. But literally, the feeling of this glowing grenade stuck to a guy.
Oh yeah.
Is so incredibly satisfying, and I just think that even like I said, the Needler, and which was like literally just kind of like a crappy thing that
it was like the Klob it was like the Klob from GoldenEye. How useless the Needler was.
But it's like if you got enough off, and there was that delay where they might just overwhelm them and kill them. Like I think.
The delay, yes, and they would explode.
Right, and then there's the plasma gun that you have one shot. You have to charge it up, and if you get it, then you take their shields out. Then you just use a pistol to kill them.
Yeah,
to finish the job.
That was the other thing about Halo that I think did really well, was because the physics and everything were so predictable.
Right,
everything felt really grounded.
Grenades, you could bounce off of walls, GoldenEye style.
Mm-hmm. Kind of as the successor for like. GoldenEye, like I don't have nearly as much experience playing Halo, but that was one thing that I always really loved.
Well, Bungie definitely is like the Covenant weapons. Yeah, totally. We're gonna make alien, like these are weapons that really we needed to have. No, like they wanted to have the guise of alien weapons just to say we're gonna make things that shoot lasers and weird projectiles,
charge pistols,
which is amazing because it's like, you know what, we have free reign, we have science fiction.
Yes.
Well, let's take it to the extreme. Let's implement these cool things. Let's have these people take these weapons, pop 4 friends into a warthog.
Yeah.
Or,
which is also such a game changer, just having vehicles,
really
great vehicles.
You hop onto a turret, or you try like the Ghost, which is like basically like a hoverboard. The Ghost, like a little moped thing, a little cart almost that you hovers and you can actually ram people and run them over.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a mini Slave One from Star Wars.
Yes, exactly. I think for me, Bungie kind of took it and ran.
Yeah.
Where and it's weird to me that that you just don't see that level of creativity anymore. Like Time Splitters, Free Radical did a great job because they were continuing the trend.
Did they have like banana rifle or something? Or?
They had a lot of weird, wacky guns. They're not as memorable. I think that originality was really mainly focused on like the characters and the. Also, I think that the animation style, IDOS had a really great thing where they had a very specific animation kind of a look, and it was super smooth. It was usually 60 frames, and they had they had a great animation pipeline where like them jumping up and down, like in a lot of like the simplistic, stylish animations for the facial expressions. They did a great job at making sure like the eyebrows would be raised, the eyes would bulge, or there'd be a smile. It's like. Kind of like that Jack and Daxter Naughty Dog.
I was about to mention it was just like Jack and Daxter.
And I feel like I don't know. I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of that charm, a lot of that character and personality that we associate with the uniqueness of the weapon design of N64 era games is kind of diminished along with the really wacky characters as well.
Why do you think today's games don't do as much to be original when it comes to their weapon designs? Is it because that people are looking for more of those real world first-person shooter experiences? Or
I mean, Halo is still a thing. So Halo is still a thing. So like people like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. I think 3 is it 3?
30?
I think Modern Warfare 3 is when they actually end up like out in space. I never played that one. I actually just kind of lost interest for 1,000 reasons. But they had it like they're outside in space. They had like these the unique moon gravity. They had some of these interesting weapons and stuff.
Oh, is this future warfare?
It might have been. Yeah,
with the exoskeletons and stuff too.
Well, no, that's different. That was different. That was they were starting to kind of merge because I think Halo at the time was obviously still doing well, and they were trying to figure out how to kind of have interesting like wall running mechanics and wall jumping to make it more add some verticality. Remember verticality in games where that was a thing?
That was also considered such like a no for reviewers. Like, don't mention verticality,
which is crazy because think like you just mentioned it before. Duke Nukem 3D.
Yes.
Where do you start?
You start on the rooftop of
a
skyscraper.
Rooftop. You start on a rooftop. It's amazing.
Damn.
Like even for that as basic and that game. Honestly, I don't think that game didn't even look good for its time.
It didn't.
But like, which is hilarious.
But it had lots of little systems though that made it so much fun to play.
And yet again, there was a few games. There was that game, and then there was what was that really dark shooter that came out? Not Hexen.
Hexen
was it Hexen?
Hexen's another one on the Doom engine.
I think it might. I forgot where it was. I mean, it seems like there was like kind of like a Lovecraftian, Clive Barker influence in a lot of the Doom games.
Yeah.
And so, but I remember Doom 3D. You literally start on a rooftop. You can look around. You see buildings and rooftops, and you go through a chute, a pipe, a ventilation pipe, an air shaft, whatever, and you drop down. That's kind of how you start. But I mean, there are moments like even in this stadium, the multiplayer, you had the jetpack, you could fly all over the place. Like,
oh yeah, and doesn't that show you like, wow, these game developers really thought through the design of their levels?
They weren't deterred by the hardware. They wanted to like figure out, okay, if we can't make a photorealistic alien rifle that shoots green glue or gob whatever substance all over the place, like let's at least render it the best we possibly can with these sprites. Let's give these personality. Let's give Duke the witty little one-liners and whatnot. Let's kind of harp on campy B movies and whatnot. And I think it's just that the real feeling of creativity and wanting to really ensue a very specific mindset, a singular vision that it doesn't seem like it's hampered by any kind of expectations. It's like they want to make games that they want to play.
Right, and it wasn't just trying to be like real life.
Right.
Because, I mean, you have like the space pigs and...
That's true.
The strippers, which was that's very real, very realistic.
Real. Well, I mean, everything there.
But I also loved that because in such a light way, they built like cities, and you're kind of exploring.
Yeah.
It didn't, even though it is a linear game.
The movie theater.
The movie theater. Being able to open and close
doors. You can you can press buttons.
You can turn on and off lights.
Lights. I think that you also had a reflection as well at the time.
You did, yeah.
Which is like the Mario 64 methodology, which is just duplicating the player object and then mirroring it.
That's right.
So it's like. But it's like, you don't need to worry about screen space reflections and all that. Screen Splace.
Yeah, that's my favorite band.
Screen Splace?
Screen Splace!
You don't have to worry about that. You can just kind of like, just wing it. Because it's like, I just love that idea of these developers crafting experiences that they themselves would find enjoyment in. They saw the market. They saw that, there was Army Men.
Right.
There were other games coming out around that time frame that were kind of delving deep into certain things, but I think like a lot of shooters, as they were getting more and more comfortable. I mean, immediately, Rare went to Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark was very strange and alienorific. They even made it crazier than like the Covenant weapons of Bungie. They wanted to actually make something even more original and more tangible. And they,
very realistic, almost System Shocky with how the RPG elements.
Yes, yeah.
Which I thought I mean, it also kind of reminded me a little bit of Omicron.
Omicron, yes.
The old David Cage game, right?
With David Bowie.
David Bowie, yeah.
The Davids.
D squared. It's all just swinging off that D.
It was.
But there's also the little game called Half-Life and Half-Life 2. You got
that's
Crowbar.
by
that is by Jack Black.
Jack. Okay.
Yeah. And then Steve Madden.
Okay.
John, it was a brother of John Madden.
Okay, one of the Maddens.
One of the Maddens.
And that was George Foreman.
Yeah. He made the
grill, the easy greasy, the
actually it's
easy greasy machine.
They really should have called
the machizy. Okay.
Yeah.
Fat grilling machine.
Easy.
Easy.
It all said it on
easy,
the lid.
Difficult, lemon difficult.
God, that's such a good movie.
That is a great movie.
But with like Half-Life 2, you have the gravity gun. Which physics, playing around with the world of physics, in a way, in my opinion, Half-Life 2.
It was introduced. I feel like it was introduced. Sorry to cut you off. I just feel like that was introduced naturally.
Yeah,
maybe it's my memory. But I feel like
though
it wasn't like, oh, this is the physics puzzle.
No. Even though there were a few moments where it's like, why am I in a room full of nothing but crates?
That's true. That's my worst fear is like me saying this and then going back and like, wait, I'm totally off base.
Yeah, where like Alex Vance is like, hey, use this as a gravity gun. Use it to stack objects to climb to higher areas. Like, wait, what?
It's like a banana hanging from the ceiling and there's like 4 crates and you're like, oh, this is totally natural.
Yeah, there's a countdown and the crates are like shimmering and like you hear Alex is saying like, stack the crates on top of each other, stack the crates on top of each other.
Oh god, you just brought me back to Killzone 2. Oh,
don't you dare.
I hated that. Do you remember that? Like,
I do.
Was it the demo? The demo of it?
They're rushing you along in a scripted way, and they're constantly
no chill.
Like, hey, what are you doing? Get over here.
We gotta go.
We gotta go.
And it was like the same line, and it's like you're dropped into this jaw-dropping, absolutely, like I don't even have the words to describe it.
I bet it still looks really good.
Most likely,
probably like how Black looks really good too. That old first-person shooter.
Yes,
not the color.
Black was Burnout.
God.
That was the Burnout developers. It'll come to me. Oh my god, it'll come to me. But it was actually one of the developers for Black, I guess, was another guy that actually worked on the hardware for Xbox.
That makes sense.
So he was like, this is the swan song, kind of like how Last of Us was like the
swan song,
comparing like Lair.
Mm-hmm.
Factor 5, really? I'm so sorry. Rest in peace. But it was still like, man, Rogue Squadron to Lair. That happened.
Way to take a shit on their grave there, Al. But don't you remember?
No, they did that
Rogue
themselves.
Squadron?
Do you remember motion controls?
I do. But I never played Lair, and I'm not gonna back it up. But launch games, they're typically not great unless you're Nintendo.
Yeah.
However, going back to Half-Life 2, I do feel like the gravity gun was a really interesting tool because it was both a weapon you could use. It's sort of like this is what Valve does. Like Valve takes a weapon and they turn it into a tool. And you can use that tool to get to a new place very easily. The other thing that they did really well is incorporate puzzles and where you actually have to kind of think about the tools that you have. Like there's a scene in, I think it's Half-Life 2 episode 2 where you use a grenade and you have to lob the grenade below a platform for that platform which is hinged to basically help throw you onto a higher level.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't in real world sounds like the most insane thing that a person would ever do. Probably immediately break both of your legs and it's just a really elaborate suicide. Like, I don't know what Gordon Freeman was thinking, but he just blew his fucking legs off. However, it was such a creative implementation of a weapon.
Criterion, by the way.
Oh, Criterion, of course.
I couldn't think of the name.
Well, they had that weird logo with a dog, right?
With the dog.
The dog.
Yeah,
the other dog company.
Criterion, yeah. They you know how it is, right? You work on a phenomenal first-person shooter that's like bullet. They call it gun porn. Like that was like one of the games that like I love that game. I really loved it. For absolutely forgettable storyline, but like they got the quote unquote gun feel down perfectly.
Wait for Black.
For Black.
Yeah, and the physics and the particle effects too.
Great.
Very
gorgeous.
Very forward thinking. I actually like too just how you're talking about I'm just gonna cut off this thing. We should probably wrap this episode up. But the other thing that I think is really great, Alex, is talking about what if you were to play a game right now and you could use any weapon that you've ever used in a video game, which one would you choose?
Well, I actually was thinking about this. This is like probably one of my shower thought I had, which is like I was thinking, I would love to have a game where like the main character had like a grenade that's their primary method, which is like a grenade or some sort of tool that they can throw embedded in like an enemy, have it explode and maybe come back to them.
Ooh, I like that.
Like, because you have the visceral, you have the aiming, you have like the physics, you have a lot of stuff.
That's brilliant.
I just feel like, and I just announced it to everyone, so
yeah, now it's out in the world, right?
No, but it's like I feel like that's like I was like, okay, well that's just like any grenade in any military shooter, but I think that's like, you know, I miss that. I miss having just unique weapons because the weapon is the primary method of interaction into this world.
Yeah, that's what
you're not there for the charm of the protagonist. You're there because they're holding they're holding Toe Jam and Earl Earthworm Jim style cow launchers. They're holding, you know what I mean?
Right,
It's like
yeah, you're not there slapping 5.
No, it's so like I've always been fascinated by the fact that developers, especially when they open up their genre and they make it about something like in that science fiction or futuristic or they go cartoony, like why not just go all out with it? You know, is it? I mean, Insomniac, literally, their Ratchet and Clank franchise, their entire franchise is based off of, like, crazy guns, insane guns. Like the best gun you can play plays. Oh no,
with disco mode.
Well, there's that too, which is great. But
almost, in my opinion, it's almost too great.
But it's like the Insomniac has like the charm, right? They had the charm of like their really great animations. They had like their unique character designs, unique weapons. Like they are one of the few developers that is holding on to this idea that like that's a really important part of developing any kind of, especially if you're making into a shooter. Why not make the actual act of shooting interesting, unique?
Yep. I couldn't agree more. I love that. The idea of a grenade that explodes and then it like reforms and comes back to you.
Yeah.
Like an explosive boomerang in a way.
I was thinking of like Dark Sector for a quick second because then Dark Sector had like and I think that was really cool as well, but I want something that would be a little quicker than that. I would want it to be a little bit more Twitch based than that because that was like you actually control the glaive as it goes through the air.
So maybe more like the sticky grenade from
exactly. Way more like that.
And that's so satisfying, like nailing someone, especially if you're falling off the map.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious because you do this glowing orb.
Yeah, and you posthumously murder someone.
That's true. You stick them and you die and they die afterwards.
I love the sound too when you jump off the map and it goes, ow. Well, you guys, this has been another episode of Metachomp. You could find us on social media, obviously. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, MySpace, Friendster.
Christian Mingle. No, we canceled that account.
We canceled Christian Mingle.
Their fees.
But OkCupid, though, we're on there now.
Yeah.
But Al, where can people find your work
on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? OkCupid, primarily OkCupid, and Farmers Only, partially depending on negotiations and all that stuff.
That's right, because you know what they say, city folk,
they don't get it.
Mm-hmm. They don't just get it; they get it. You can find me on Instagram, MySpace, SoundCloud, and of course, Farmers Only.
Dropping a hot beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, catch me on Dropbox.
Where's my snare?
Turn my snare up. Be sure to check out my single, Cock Blocks.
Oh, I love that.
Cock Blocks. Yep.
That's like the adult version of Minecraft.
That's right. Also. Speaking of Minecraft, remember all those Minecraft clones?
That was a thing.
Yeah.
And then Notch is like, Not today.
Notch from his ivory tower.
Nice try there. I have Serena Williams. I can conquer and have everything I want, I guess, right?
That's right. Oh my God. And he's like, I just casually outbid Jay-Z.
I'm so sorry. I actually got that. The founder of Reddit is with Serena Williams. Just the most random bit of trivia you could ever hear. Same difference.
I'm sure they could
just
swap.
A bunch of nerds.
Who's Notch married to?
Himself. I would create a Minecraft character organically if they could. It would be a disaster, an abomination. But I'd keep it alive because I would pity it.
I wonder if that's what every woman who's ever married Notch says about having children with him.
Yeah.
Creating a Minecraft character together.
Exactly.
Well, thanks so much again for listening, you guys. This has been Minecraft. Take it away, Al. I clearly lost my mind.
Well, I appreciate everyone listening to this podcast. This has been Metachomp, and you've been chomped the fuck out. I'm kidding. No.
Yeah.